Alright, welcome to Menu Heroes Digest. I'm your host, Steven.
And I am Jordan, the co-host, and it's a very special birthday for a very special lady.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
And who is this special lady?
Oh, some would say the world's strongest woman. Some would say, one of the original world warriors.
Hillary
some would
Clinton?
Say, yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Save your routine for the comedy club there, Steven. We're talking about the Chun-Li from Street Fighter. She is so in canon she was born on March 1st. All right, well, we missed it anyway. So March 1st, 1968 is our canon birthday. So happy 52nd birthday, Miss Lee. Yep. And I mean, what else? What else can you say about such a some kind of wonderful woman that she is? Just one of the coolest martial art characters out there. And I'm sure everybody's got their own favorite Street Fighter character, but to me, like, there's no wonder. Like, when you think of Street Fighter, you think of Chun-Li. Other than Ryu and Ken. Okay, I'll say those two. Yeah, those are sort of the mascots. They're like they're the ones that keep showing up. But like, yeah, I'll give you a good example. Back in the late '90s, when Capcom finally made Street Fighter 3, an official Street Fighter 3, not like Street Fighter 2, Hyper, Turbo, Ultra.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Instinct editions they were releasing. Yeah, when they finally released that, they did originally have Ryu and Ken. And a bunch of other, like, at the time, no names. Right now, I think, like, Ibuki and Elena or Narena. There's a few of them that have become popular or have grown a fan base, but, everybody was kind of not too happy with so many of the classics. Some of the, like, the original 8 World Warriors not being involved. And, of course, the one everybody was clamoring for was Chun-Li. And every single re-release of Street Fighter 3 has included Chun-Li. Now, not just included her, but added her on the box cover, just to let you know, we listen, okay? We put her in the game. See, she's right there, all right? And she has a daughter, kind of, or she's got like a little girl she looks after now. So, okay, she's got an arc, all right? We promise. We'll learn our lesson. So, yeah. That's all I got to say. So, the main thing... Yeah, I think we talked about Street Fighter 6 or the potential for Street Fighter 6 coming up, and there will be more news. I have no doubt in my mind they will showcase what she'll look like in the next game, and maybe show her a bit muscular. Show her, hey, they had no problem showing Ryu being built like a,
like a truck.
So, yeah. Yeah, tank. Yeah, truck or tank. Yeah, should have gone with that. Sorry. It's real late, y'all, and we got a lot of sources covered, but I did wanted to at least begin this episode with, something positive and something that we all agree, that Chun-Li's awesome. And, we're really happy you were born today. Well, born 3 days ago, but hey, yeah, happy late birthday.
Alright, we got a lot to cover today. Some of it is actually very serious.
Yes.
And we've kind of sandwiched that in between some lighthearted stories, make it easier to talk about. So,
yeah.
First off, we'll talk about the something you wanted to say.
Well, it's just that, as I said, we are a gaming podcast channel, just a gaming channel overall. And while politics might slip in every once in a while, we do try to, like, not bring up depressing news whenever we can, or only bring it up when it's very important to the story. And unfortunately, the situation going on in Ukraine is very serious. many people are just struggling, are just going through what most people would think is a nightmare, going through a living nightmare right now. Of course, obviously, there's the people living in Ukraine being attacked and like having the threat of nuclear have missiles just launched on their houses, and there are videos of missiles blowing up buildings and everything. But even just like for some Russians, like there are videos of like average Russian civilians, protesting this war. They had no stakes in this, and they want nothing to do with this. And plenty of them are protesting in St. Petersburg, even though they have been threatened to be arrested and everything. So this is just an awful situation all the way around. And you feel like you're not doing a whole, if you want to contribute in some kind of way, we will send a link into either for the video itself or in the comments of the funding I want to really talk about is the GoFundMe.com HCA Films Awards Ukraine Crisis Fund. This one you can donate any amount you want. I'm going to chip in $25 to like help out whatever I can. But basically, it is meant to be. It's like there is certainly film fans and like people who enjoy all kinds of media in Ukraine, but obviously like with their one of their like main concert halls being blown up and everything, like they're gonna need some money to repair. So so I'm sending a link to Steven right now of this donation, or this place you can donate, and actually from various sources, and this one does seem legit, and it's actually going to the people that it needs it most. So as I said, any amount you can, it'll mean a lot, even if it's just like $5 or something like that. Just whatever you can. And again, if you're going through some hard times as well, I understand. All I'm gonna do is just like raise awareness and try and like help out whatever I can, because hearing all this news gets depressing, and I try to escape to shows and video games, but unfortunately the real world finds some way to creep up on you.
It is an unfortunate mess that Russia has caused, and it's just words fail me, to be honest.
Yeah, and I'm just making sure that I do as decent of a job to like cover something like this, because
it's
this
is serious topic.
Yeah, it's almost like the stuff we've been talking about for a while now seems kind of trivial by comparison.
I mean, we've talked about a lot of important stuff. We've talked about sexual harassment, gender identity,
and those are
LGBT.
Are serious. Yeah, let me just say, I'm not saying like they're not. I'm not saying that's serious at all. I'm just saying like, with a country being at war, and being under attack, that's that's a whole other level.
Yeah,
than anything we've been talking about.
I mean, there's tons of innocent people who do not want to be stuck in this conflict. And, like, that includes a ton of Russians. Like, a lot of Russians did not want and do not want to go to war. They hate this. They're protesting to the best of their ability because, Russia is a capitalist dystopian nightmare.
Speaking as someone in a capitalist dystopian nightmare ourselves, but yeah.
At least it's not like we don't have a dictatorship.
Yeah, we are fortunate on that.
Even under Trump, who I despise, we didn't have a dictatorship. We just had dumb leadership.
Yeah.
But yes, I feel bad for the Russians, and I feel bad for the Ukrainians, and especially the Ukrainian people, because, the Russia's not getting attacked like Ukraine is.
Yeah. Yeah, I just...
The whole situation is
like...
not ideal, to say the least.
Well, it's like there's... Again, there's no way you can imagine what war is like or what an invasion is like unless you actually are experiencing it. And, even as we're speaking right now, even as we're, we might in an hour or so go to bed, like, there's people going through that and going to go through that some more and are fighting for their lives and fighting to hold on to what little they have. And
yeah,
you gotta pray for them. I gotta at least pray for them.
Yeah. So, as you are most likely well aware, Russia has invaded the Ukraine. They officially declared war on Ukraine.
Yep.
And the makers of an upcoming post-apocalyptic survival horror game called Stalker 2 wrote in a statement that our country woke up with the sounds of explosions and weapon fire, but is ready to defend its freedom and independence, for it remains strong and ready for anything. It is a 300-person studio based in I can't remember the correct way to pronounce this.
Yeah, again, apologies. It's KYIV. I'm gonna say Kiev. I could be completely wrong on this. I probably am wrong, but yeah, that's how I assumed it was said. But by all means, correct us and tell us how wrong we are.
Kiev.
Yeah. Kiev. Okay, Kiev. Okay.
Or Kiev. Something like that.
Yeah.
Because the Russian version is Kiev. And we don't want to use that because, No. So, continuing their statement, through pain, death, war, fear, and inhuman cruelty, Ukraine will persevere, as it always does. Other developers came out with a more direct message. One of them said, "Screw the war. This morning we woke up in the middle of madness. Screw the war. There is only feelings of anger and powerlessness. Screw the war. We do not condone it in any shape or form. Screw the ones who do, and also screw the screwing war." As you can tell, I used screw in place of another word. While that does take a little bit of the weight of the message away, this is still a family-friendly channel.
Oh yeah, and again, I know this is gonna be a very hard subject to talk about, especially with kids, but they need to at least be somewhat aware of what's going on in the way, at least at least in a way you can explain it to kids. But oh man, this is a little hard to say, but it's what I'm saying, of like, you want to let them still believe in magic and wonder and the goodness of people, but also you want to prepare them and let them know there's some bad stuff out there in the world. So we are trying our best to inform, but also enlighten, or trying
to make our way through it. It's not easy.
Yeah.
And we live in the States. We're not really suffering. The worst we're suffering right now, and I use that word very loosely, is insane gas prices. I mean, I think it's dumb. It doesn't make sense because we don't get our gas from Russia. But, we're not in the same situation as those in Ukraine. So,
Yep.
According to this article, though, our old enemy Ubisoft has at least tried to do some good in the world.
Yeah.
I recommended, the obvious, that their employees take shelter in a place they consider safe. They have provided all team members in Ukraine with additional funds to help them cover exceptional costs, such as those related to their travel and relocation, and has paid salaries in advance to account for any potential disruption to banking systems. Ubisoft is providing housing in neighboring countries where teams and their families can take shelter if they wish and are able to do so. To ensure we stay closely connected with all teams, we have set up hotlines to respond to their questions and needs, and have put in place an emergency communication system should infrastructures grow unstable. So, for all the bad they do, at least in this instance, they can show some decency.
Yes, and while we haven't covered Elon Musk a lot, he's another, someone from France who has been in the news a lot and has done things that have really grinded my gears.
I was actually thinking about him today.
Let's say at least one nice thing about him is that he made a promise to Ukraine that he would send in satellite internet, or satellite,
his Starlink system is a...
Yes.
It's supposed to be an affordable internet, not governed by, the government. Or something like that. So, I don't like Elon Musk at all. Some of the work he's doing is, it's good. Electric cars are freaking awesome. But some of the work, some of his beliefs are... I can't agree with them. Some of the things he does. His NFT stuff is really stupid. But, like Jordan said, he's also contributing to helping the Ukraine situation. So, you can't. You gotta give credit where credit's due.
I mean, at first I didn't really mind Elon Musk. Yeah, when he was just doing his little shindig, I knew there were people who loved him, 5 or 6 years ago. I didn't really take him much mind. But I noticed him. I paid attention to more he was saying when he said that the whole coronavirus and the pandemic was not a big deal, and he refused to install important ventilations into his factories that his employees needed to make sure they didn't spread the virus or whatever. That was the first gear that he grinded. Or the first time my gears were grinded when I just heard about his name. But again, I will say, him giving Starlink internet to Ukraine is a very good thing, and I will give him full credit for that. Or him keeping his promise. Yeah, I will give him credit on that.
So moving on, CS:GO is a game that I'm gonna be honest, I don't exactly remember what CS:GO is. I think it's a shooting game? First-person shooter? I might be completely wrong. Anyway, so a pro gamer, CS:GO gamer, lost a tournament. His name is... I cannot say his name. I don't know how to say that. It's Alexander, simple, and then I can't say the last name. And Alexander's just an Anglicized version of it.
Yeah, and I am only aware of him because he does show up on the Raid Shadow Legends commercials. I'm sure he's been in Raid Shadow Legends tournaments, and he is a high-ranking member on there. And I think they put his character or one of his characters as a special skin, gave a special skin for that character, I think. But as I said, that's how I first noticed him or first known about him or anything. But so I'm sure he's been in several different esport tournaments. And as I said, the article that though he did lost, he did give a very important and very impactful speech during the ceremony, or near the end of the ceremony. If I can pull it up here.
He gave $33,000 to the Ukrainian army, and while funding the army is it's money that's going to the Ukrainian people basically, because unlike a lot of wars, this is extremely one-sided.
I was about to say, like, usually the military does creep me out sometimes, even though I do have family members in the military. Like, but some of them have told me some things that I shouldn't say out loud. Have let me know, like, just stay as far away from that as Jordan. Just don't ever enlist ever, under any circumstances. But anyway, I'd say in this situation, giving money to Ukrainian military right when they're dealing with an invasion, is much more understandable. Is way more understandable. It makes total sense.
But yeah, so the speech he gave was this: all of us are scared, and all of us need to show an example at this tournament for the whole world. We need to stay together as a unit because our fans, because our friends, because everyone who's going to watch this tournament, we all need to stay humans first. So it's actually... This is actually interesting. We talked about how he donated $33,000 to the Ukraine army. He actually hasn't publicly said anything about it. He didn't, like... So when he donated it, it wasn't really something he wasn't like, hey, look, I donated. It was actually a Ukrainian Olympic sports and NBA broadcaster who reported that he had donated the money. So that makes this even more, He might have lost the tournament, but he's won our hearts.
Yeah, I mean, like, didn't know a whole lot about him, but I do give him mad respect.
And apparently, I think this isn't his first time donating to causes. So...
later in the article it does say, like, he donated all the money he made from the Face It Pro League tournament to Men's Health Charity Organization for Movember UK. Full total, I mean, they never really fully said, but it was estimated that it was potentially like $5,000 is supposedly. And yeah, Movember UK. Yeah, just yeah. So yeah, given to other charities, helping other people. You love to see it.
I do love to see it. You're right. You know what else I love to see? And now is where we transition to some light-hearted news. I like seeing gaming show hosts getting on stage and saying, "Screw you, Bobby Kotick." So,
yes,
the DICE Awards.
We'll let you imagine what he actually said on the Game Awards show.
So the DICE Awards is the video game industry's Oscar equivalent. It Takes Two won its second Game of the Year award. And
as it deserves.
So the most interesting part of this isn't Todd Howard talking about the Ukraine events, or Wordle and The Sims. No, it is Greg Miller, who, after joking about Cyberpunk 2077, Metroid Dread, and NFTs, he said F Bobby Kotick, but he said the actual word. And how do you think the audience responded? With claps and cheers.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
You love to see this.
I do love to see this. So...
Yes.
Apparently, part of the decision behind this, was that during the Game Awards, Jeff Keighley, was criticized for refusing to name names. Excuse me. It's pretty telling that he was like, you know what? I don't want the same blowback that Jeff got, so I'm gonna fight to get this in because this is important. He said, as for the crowd, I don't think they expected us to go so hard. Nobody told him he was wrong because, he's not wrong,
No.
Screw Bobby Kotick.
No, it's just like, again, it's always shocking that, like, that Microsoft, when they're still in the middle of buying Activision and Blizzard, that they said, oh no, we're keeping Bobby Kotick around, don't you worry. And just everyone just turned around and said, like, really? This is your opportunity to, like, let him go, just to put him on a boat and let him drift away. No one will miss him. Like, you had that chance, and I just don't want to start rumors, but I do. There's a part of me that kind of thinks that Mr. Kotick has some dirt on somebody at Microsoft for them to keep him around.
It's entirely possible.
He is.
It could also be a severance thing, where it would cost them more money to get rid of him.
That's a fair point.
It doesn't mean I don't want him gotten rid of. Get rid of him. It's not like you guys don't have money.
Yeah. Though the one downside to that would be, since some of these, it's like these it's usually the CEOs that, like, make big bank from being let go or being like relieved or fired or whatever. They still get a chunk of money. They get a golden parachute.
They
win.
Leave a
company.
They win either way. I like that golden parachute.
Hey, I've heard that analogy used before, and
it's a fitting analogy.
You almost see it every day. And if you look back at the past of certain other CEOs, like currently the CEO of the AMC theaters, Aaron Aron, I believe is like, who's, again, his decisions right now, not only just like cutting the show times for movies, but also he wants to raise the price for certain popular films like the Batman. But, like, not offering any, leeway towards, like, movies that, aren't so in demand. Or at the very least, like, if a movie's been playing for a few weeks now or about over a month, and you might decide, okay, we're not going to make the price so expensive. No, they're all going to be expensive, and you're going to pay even more for a popular movie. Which, yeah, thankfully I went to the Regal Valley Theater because, they treat you right there. Yeah, for the most part. But basically, like, Aaron Aron's, like, past, like, he was already a CEO of another company that, like, crashed and burned, and then he was immediately brought over to AMC. Not CEO, he wasn't CEO immediately. It was given a high-ranking position because, like, oh, you have experience as CEO of a company. Okay, coming in. Like,
never mind, the company
ignoring
failed.
The part of, like, his company just is no longer around anymore. Did you miss that part, AMC? Did you forget about that convenient detail? Did you really? Yeah. As I said, there are many things in this world that divide us, but thankfully, one of the few things is, nobody wants a war, and also we all hate Bobby Kotick. They're like one of the handful of things that we can all agree on. But actually, there is one other thing we can all agree on. We would love for Valve to make more Portal games or something Portal related.
Oh, would we?
It's been a long time. Portal 2 was 2010, and I checked, Steven, the last time Valve Games made anything, an actual game, not Steam related, an actual official game, was back in 2003 with Dota 2. They have not released anything else.
You mean 2013?
2013. Sorry, 2013. Yeah. I mean, in 2000. Well, actually, no, they didn't release anything in 2000. Well, actually, no, they didn't release anything in 2003. 2013 was the last time they. Oh, actually, no. Yeah, they have not released any other game officially. So, yeah. And so, while this next announcement isn't a Portal 3 like many like myself would love, it is thing Portal adjacent. It's basically it's about the melancholy workplace of Aperture Science, and because they just released a trailer today about upcoming free game going to be available on Windows PC called Aperture Desk Job. And again, this trailer already has like the fun, quirky sci-fi robot humor from the previous games, and got me a bit nostalgic. I'm not gonna lie. It was just nice to go back to Aperture.
It's really they say Valve themselves suggest that you lower your expectations because it's more of a tech demo for the Steam Deck.
Okay, fine, but I wish there was some way we could donate some kind of money to them just to let them know, yes, please, we want on Portal 3. Please don't or if you want to just do a bunch of short games that are Portal related or Aperture related, sure, fine. Yes. These robots are fun, these characters are fun. Like they have something, they've got a world, they've got a something going on, and it sucks that it really hasn't gone anywhere. It's like we talked about last week about the Cuphead show and how like those characters have been like developing more, brushing into other mediums. Like Portal could have been the same thing. They could have easily had done a show based on Aperture Science or something adjacent to these robots in Aperture that I think would have gone over really well, but they just haven't really done anything with the property, and this at least gave me at least a spark of hope that we can do more stuff with these robots. Yeah,
I feel that. But, Valve has an aversion to the number 3, so...
Oh, do they? Yeah, just... Yeah. And yet they have two games called Left 4 Dead. I first thought that was that they're okay with the letter 4, but no, they won't do a third Left 4 Dead, or especially not a fourth one. Yeah, they just, man, what? Why do you hate your franchises, Valve? What have they ever done to you?
They're like, oh, we don't like money. However, you can still play this on PC, so you're not completely out of luck.
Yeah. Oh no, and by all means, I at least appreciate that Valve, they're okay with like adopting Microsoft's like Game Pass, just have it available on their Steam thing. They're not going to try their own version of Game Pass. Yeah, they saw, hey, Microsoft, you're doing good with this. We'll let it be available on our Steam Deck. It's all cool. So they're at least laid back. They're at least like not trying to copy anybody. They're just kind of moving at their own speed. And I can at least somewhat understand and relate to that.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. Sorry, I got distracted.
I didn't drink water, so I couldn't respond to you.
This isn't an article that we actually we nobody shared this, but so Steam, storefront. You know what else is a storefront? Epic Games. You know what Epic Games just bought? Bandcamp.
They just bought Bandcamp, yes.
And if you don't know, Bandcamp is a music release site. It's for... Since the beginning of the pandemic, they've been doing this thing where on Fridays, sometimes they'll give, like, all percentages of sales will go directly to the artist. You know, usually they'll take a percentage.
Heard of that, yes.
Usually they'll take a percentage because, you know, as a fee for hosting it on their site. So, you know, Epic Games owns that now, which is kind of weird, but okay, I guess. It's an acquisition that doesn't make sense to me personally, but, you know, I know a lot of people give Epic grief, but I've enjoyed their store because they still do the 2 free games.
Yeah.
And you get to keep those games forever. And, like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I like free. But yeah, okay. So like, I haven't personally used the Bandcamp app or the system yet, but from what I've heard from various sources, it does give back to artists much more than Spotify or iTunes.
Oh yeah,
have.
Spotify is
especially Spotify.
Yeah, Spotify is like a joke.
I know it's available on my phone, but it's like I have no problem with like deleting that app because I have no intention of using Spotify. For a long time, I've used like Amazon Music, only because like I still have Amazon Prime, and like certain music was available for free, and I could just play on that, be okay. But they've been taking a lot of their music down. A lot of music I've been listening for years, they've been taking it down more recently, and it's like, well, I mean, there's not a lot of options now. Oh, and also they're doing a separate like musical subscription thing for Amazon Prime Music, and no, I'm not. I got too much subscriptions already, so I don't have the money for that. I just want to complain about Amazon Prime Music and but okay, so yeah, Epic Games, little dicey, little sketchy, but so long as the artists get their money and we get our music, we're good. You got a good thing going, Epic. Don't blow this.
All right, so Elden Ring. I am positive that you guys have heard about this game because there's no way you haven't heard about this game. Okay,
and trust me, I would have loved to have tried this game out. Unfortunately, I'm still trying to get my PS4 to work. All right, it would be well, okay, maybe not the first thing I'd play for the channel if I had a PS4 working, but yeah, Elden Ring, yeah, it's from Software. Yeah, it's the newest thing. It's based on ideas from George R.R. Martin. Yeah, George R.R. Martin. And yeah, I do enjoy I enjoy Bloodborne. You know, I enjoyed the beginning of Sekiro. I've wanted to complete it, but again, at timing, I wasn't able to complete that. So I've been keeping my eyes peeled, hearing about news for Elden Ring, and it all sounds pretty good, and people have been really enjoying it. But it does have that similar problem with many of Souls-like games where you can kind of pause and get to your menu, but things are still going on in the game. There's no real way to pause the game like you would normal stuff. You know, I learned that the hard way in Bloodborne when I just had to pause for a minute, had to get a drink, and then I came back and some monster was attacking me. I was like, what? Wait, what? You're not supposed to do that. You can't do that. And just that was a harsh lesson in how brutal these games can be. The way to quote unquote pause the game in Bloodborne was you had to go to Hunter's Retreat or Hunter's Haven, I believe it was called, you know, and then press the start button right there. So that way, that area, there's no monsters attacking you. at all. That's your way to get a break and do what you gotta do, whether it be bathroom or snacks or what have you.
Yeah, I have that issue with Minecraft. Which is such a silly comparison. But, you know...
The Dark Souls of kids games.
If you haven't played Dark Souls, but you've played Minecraft, this is a good way to explain how it works. You know, you can pause the game, but everything in the game is still happening when you pause it. It's Animal Crossing's like that too, but you're not gonna die in Animal Crossing.
Yeah, that's a game about like community and gathering materials and building friendships and building material. It's like, yeah, no, unless you're like in the middle of the night and like, well, even if you're at night and there's a tarantula nearby, it's not gonna bite you while the game's paused, right?
What? I'm sorry.
Right, Steven? I was gonna say they don't bite you while you're paused, right?
Who, the Animal Crossing?
No, the tarantulas.
Tarantulas and what?
In Animal Crossing.
I don't think they do, no.
Okay, good. It's only been very rare that I've found tarantulas on my island, and when they do, I can never figure out the timing to catch them. I'm either do it too soon or I don't do it quick enough, and I get bitten every time.
Yeah, they're buggers. Alright, so this is a mod called Pause the Game that pauses the game. The downside is you can't use online components, but that's not really a downside for me, considering my internet sucks.
I mean, isn't like the only online component. Okay, I haven't played Elden Ring itself, but for me, Bloodborne, like the only online components that really like I noticed or was paid attention to was like whenever someone would leave you a note on the ground or in certain parts. But many of those notes were like frauds. Like people were intentionally trolling you of being like, "Oh, walk here. Oh, an invisible wall," or just drop down here, and it's just like. Make you think, oh, there's a clue. Oh no, there's something I missed. And it just many people abuse that mentality or that tactic and just try and troll you into like doing dumb stuff or get yourself killed. So I have no problem with that being gone. You jerks. Man, I was gullible once, but never again.
Alright, so, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
Alright, we're going to jump right into that, okay.
Yeah, so there's not much to talk about it. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Gen 9, coming out the end of this year. Introduced the 3 starters. We've got Fuecoco, which is a pepper crocodile.
Okay.
We've got Quaxley, which is a duckling with a... Mm-hmm. People say it's a hat, but I thought it was its hair, so...
I've seen fan art of cool renditions of the hair, and it's real funny out there. But you haven't mentioned. There's one you've forgotten, Steven.
Oh yes, Sprigatito.
Yes. How could you forget such a cute little face? How could anyone not ignore such a little cutie? So anyway, but yeah, I know there's not a whole lot of news about this for Scarlet and Violet, but I gotta say it did catch me off guard. They were jumping right into Gen 9, or I don't know. Maybe I was gullible and I thought that like the Pokemon Arceus game was Gen 9, and that they would start to like try this new single like open world game they try, But nope, I was wrong. They got a traditional 2-game Gen 9 where, like, you know, doing your typical Pokemon trainer stuff. And again, like, the graphics definitely are an improvement from Sword and Shield. Just by looking already, it is an improvement. There's certainly, like, more details in the environment and in the Pokemon. But it's okay.
I think it looks good.
Usually yeah, it looks good, but it's like, I don't know. Like, it's funny because I'm the guy that says, like, man, graphics are not the important thing.
You're cutting out.
You know, gameplay is. It's important that, you know, we focus on gameplay and it's on the quality of the story or, like, the mechanics. But it's important that storytelling and gameplay and mechanics and features, those are the important things of games, not the graphics. And yet here I am looking at both Pokemon Legends Arceus and, you know, Scarlet and Violet, and I feel like these games weren't given enough time to fully render the graphics. They don't feel complete. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get you.
Maybe because Breath of the Wild's... Hello again!
Alright, we gotta hurry it up because the connection's not stable anymore.
I know, man, I know.
we gotta move on. Sorry.
Okay, I will just simply say the designs I think look good. I am excited. I am very interested in what they could do next for this game. Definitely going for, I think, a more Barcelona, very Spanish look to it, from what, or, you know, at least like an Islander look to it, and I am all for that. I'm just saying this feels like it's being rushed. Is my big concern.
Well, they've obviously been working on it for years. You know, ever since Sword and Shield came out, probably.
Yeah, but they were also working on Pokemon Legends Arceus. Like, I feel like they should have given one of these games more time. Is my only thought. I'm trying not to be negative. I'm trying to not poo-poo on anybody's opinions on, or, you know, feelings on these. You know, by all means, like, if these games are great, fine. But you know, it's the concern I've always had with Game Freak and with Nintendo right now is like how they feel like they have to keep pushing content out just to, like, meet with merchandise and you know, product and everything.
See, it's not really Nintendo though. It's more Pokemon just doing that.
I was saying mainly Game Freak is like the ones perpetrating this, but obviously with so much money that Pokemon comes out of, I'm sure Nintendo's also encouraging, like, yeah, keep this going. Yeah, you're making a lot of money, and it's making us a lot of money, and, you know, hey, just keep the wheel spinning, keep it spinning. Don't ever slow down. Don't you ever slow down, ever. And as someone who witnessed Pokemon from its inception from the 90s, I've been defensive of it. I have been supportive of this franchise, but also I see its massive potential, and I wish it just keep pushing forward. Pokemon Legends Arceus is a good first step, but it needs to keep going forward. It needs to keep pushing itself.
Well, that's what Violet and Scarlet are. They're like an extension of Arceus. But we gotta move on. Let's skip number 7 and go to just discussing our favorite Batman stuff, because we're running out of time.
Well, I mean, it was Batman related because Robert Pattinson was describing Final Fantasy VII to Zoe Kravitz in an interview where they were together, and like the whole, oh yeah, you have one girl, Aerith, being like the girl next door, and she heals everybody, and then you have Tifa, who is the bad girl, and she's in short skirts and everything, and you know, Zoe Kravitz kind of pointed out, like, wow, really, this is all it has, you know, everything, and also like mentioned that Aerith does, like, okay, spoilers here for Final Fantasy VII. any of you don't know, Aerith does die. She is sacrificed for the sake of like Cloud's character arc, which you know, Zoe hearing about this rightfully was kind of taken aback by that because yeah, it's like it is an example of women in the fridge. You know, the classic trope of you have a female character who dies just for the sake of like expanding upon or showcasing the male leads, you know, emotions and his, you know, and his development and his arc. So yeah, that's all. That's the main thing I wanted to bring about that. But yes, that was a story about the new actors playing Batman and Catwoman, and that was going to segue into our big Batman discussions of all things we love that are Batman, not just games, but also movies, shows, you know, yeah, and occasionally comics. If you like a comic or two, you know, go ahead and mention it. But
we just,
as I said,
we just don't.
I am working on a script.
We don't have time to do a whole.
I am working on a script for two Batman videos coming up, and I thought it'd be kind of fun for our Mini Heroes Digest episode that's coming out the weekend of the Batman, that we talk about a bit about Batman stuff, you know, because it's been nothing but Batman for me this whole week. I'm gonna have exploring Batman games. What?
I'm gonna have to limit you though, because we don't have time. I have to go put Xander to bed. It's almost 11:30, and my internet's just not working.
Did not mean.
You can. I'll give you like.
I understand.
Top 3 Batman things.
Okay. I'll pick. Okay. So, firstly, for favorite Batman show, I mean, it's gotta be Batman the Animated Series. Like, without a doubt, like that show perfectly encapsulated all things like Batman, of the history of Batman, you know, with of course the 90s. It was a show in the 90s, so only it had just about like 30-40 years of Batman to really work off of, but it does it so well. All the Rose Gallery, all the supporting characters are all so phenomenal and well done. And of course, the voice acting is top notch. People still to this day clamor for Kevin Conroy to play Batman and for Mark Hamill to play the Joker, despite the fact that they have recast the voice acting for many of the other Batman characters. They still want those two to keep coming back, and you know, God bless them, they do. Even in things like the Killing Joke animated film, which that would go on my list of least favorite Batman stuff. I mean, I personally feel that the Killing Joke comic is very overrated. You know, it's just shock value for the sake of shock value. And yeah, if you don't know me, I'm a big Barbara Gordon fan. So if there's something Batman related that has Barbara Gordon being tortured or harmed or even killed, I'm gonna take a few points off that, because she's amazing. You know, she's a queen in my eyes, and I will not be taking questions. All right. But as a film itself, like the Killing Joke animated film was not good. Just even if you don't look at it, even just look at it as just an animated film all its own, it just does not work. But anyway, staying on focus here, a Batman film that absolutely works top to bottom is, you know, Mask of the Phantasm, and also The Dark Knight. Okay, so but anyway, Mask of the Phantasm is still one of my favorite Batman films, whether it be live action or animated. And there are some really good Batman films. You know, we could talk again. I was going to talk a bit about the Nolan trilogy, but obviously we have a lot of time. So, Mask of the Phantasm, great animated film, great Batman film, great murder mystery. You know, and it's a shame it did not make a lot of money when it first came out. When it got released on home video, then you had people finally noticing it and seeing how good of a movie it was, and how it's a Batman film that finally explores Bruce Wayne Batman. You know, it's not focused on just him fighting the bad guys. It's showing what he's going through and what he's dealing with emotionally. And I was lucky to get this movie on VHS when I was probably 8. and it stays in my top 3 Batman films. And last but not least, Batman games. Now I'm making 2 videos about Batman games. One is the worst Batman games, one's the best Batman games. But I do want at least, so I'll have plenty more time to talk about that. I will talk about the very first Batman game I've ever played, and that is Batman Returns. Now, it certainly is a challenging Batman game. I think it was like SNES at the time. Yeah, it was the NES version. One of the most difficult Batman games out there, and some people have put that on their worst of Batman games list. But I dug it. You know, I thought like the bright colors, I like the cool levels, and certainly like some of the. I mean, basically like the batarangs in that game were like shoot like. Sort of like Mega Man abilities, pretty much. They were pretty, similar how Mega Man has all these kind of like projectiles and energy blasts. They kind of did that, but for Batman, for the Batman Returns game. And as I said, it helped enhance my love for that movie, even though that movie is kind of a mess. But hey, at least it gave me a really fun game that really got me into the world of Batman and wanted to know more about Batman and all these crazy characters. So there you have it, the 3 things I can talk about real quick and if you want to hear me talk more about Batman, there will be 2 videos coming up soon. I can't say they'll come out at the same time as each other, but trust me, I will talk about more about Batman later in the future.
Alright, I'm not a big Batman person, so there's only really 2 things that I liked that were Batman related, that stuck out to me. That's the Harley Quinn show, because, great cast, great voice actors, great cast of characters, and I really like, how the characters develop. Plus, it's always fun seeing villains. And then I did enjoy the Gotham show. I know there's a lot of hate for it, but I enjoyed watching it.
I had to call you a simp because you called me a simp like either last episode or 2 episodes ago. But in all seriousness, though, the Harley Quinn show is amazing.
It is.
One of our mutual friends has also told me how good Gotham is, and I was very hesitant to watch it. I did catch the first season, and I thought it was pretty good. I thought, hey, this is not exactly the show I would jump into to watch, but for what it's doing and what it's trying to accomplish, I think it works.
It does get very convoluted and loses the plot at some point, but...
Yeah, and it's like, it's trying very hard to be like, oh, this is who this character was before they became the classic character you know and love and everything, and it's like, you could have just done more police procedurals, and I think that would have been fine, or had these characters be, had this be a bit grounded at first, but then slowly but surely get crazier and weirder as it goes on. That I do think is a legitimate complaint or a criticism I have for that show. But I think some of the hate is a bit unwarranted. I'll say about that.
All right, and that's all we got time for this week. If you want to donate to help Ukraine, the link is down in the description. If you want to support us, hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment. Tell us if there's anything you want us to talk about.
Be a real hero.
Be a real hero. And until next time, stay cool.
Na 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 na. Menu heroes.